So we're starting off the holiday season with Halloween, and we're going to do a pumpkin head cake. We're going to get really creative, use a little airbrush. For those of you who have an airbrush, this will be great. I'll show you some techniques you can do if you don't have the airbrush, but this is a fun one. You can go crazy with it. So let's get started. I have already stacked my 3 layers. So I've got 3 individual 8-inch layers that I've split in half and filled. So I've actually got 6 layers here all stacked up and filled. I'm going to mark the center of my cake so I know where it is. Also, I'm going to go ahead and keep that dowel in there just for stability. What I want to do from here on is I want to give my cake the round shape. And what I want to do is put my knife at about that angle there. And as I spin my turntable, I'm just going to let it slice through so it cuts off just that top corner. Now this does not need to be perfect because we want our pumpkin head to have a little character. So a little taller on one side and a little lower on the other is going to be okay for this one. Normally, I'm a big stickler about level, but for this one, we really don't want them too level. Go ahead and push that dowel down in. So I'm using my quick icer to put a quick layer on this cake. I want to use it as a crumb ice. I want to make sure that nothing's going to show through when we put our pumpkin layers on. So this definitely doesn't need to be perfect because we're just getting a crumb ice on there. So I'm going to use the quick icer to give us some definition up here on the top. We're going to use the quick icer also to make our pumpkin wedges to come up the side. So I want them to come up and down, back down in again. So to get that effect, if you take the tip of your quick icer and put it right about where you had that dowel, use some pretty heavy pressure, let it build up. We're going to give it a ring around the center. Let it build a little bit. Again, a little unevenness is okay. And you can see we've got a little hole there in the center. Okay, and just to define that a tiny bit more, I'm going to take my spatula, just place it, and spin, kind of move outwards a little bit. There we go. Great edge for making our pumpkin wedges. So let's talk about the construction a little bit. This is 3 layers, split and filled. And at the top, I've rounded the edges just a little bit by cutting off the corner. We've added on top here a little bit of icing. I've created a little hole there, so I have a place for my pumpkin wedges to come up and over. Start out, my handy dandy quick icer again. As always, we're going to wind it up, hold it at a 45-degree angle. With this quick icer, I have a serrated edge. We want that to be on the inside. We're going to start at the base of our pumpkin, and our pressure control is really important here. You want to really let it build. You want it nice and fat at the base. Let it build and push itself from the base. You need to lift very slightly. Pull, pull, pull. It's pretty thick. Up and over. There's our first wedge. Now, you can create a thinner one if you want to. I just like to have a nice fat base to start with. Now on the second one, you want to turn slightly. Do it one more time so you can watch. See how I created a thinner wedge here at the top? That'll help us when we're sculpting. One more time. Squeeze, let it build. Rotate your wrists a little bit. Pull it on in. So while I'm getting the rest of these pumpkin wedges on, I want to take this opportunity to talk a little bit about the color. I actually mixed my own peach for this. I like a real peachy pink color, just a little yellow and pink, not rose. You can go more orange if you want. If you are not airbrushing, it is great to color stripe the bag like we've done so many times. If you can see on the camera, these are striped a little bit. It just gives a little more dimension. I'm going to create a little more dimension with my airbrush, but you certainly don't have to do that. You can do that right in your bag. For those of you who have not seen us color stripe, you take some color and stripe it right up the inside of your bag and leave it, don't mix it. It'll create a nice stripe in your finished product. So we're on the last one. We want to fill in this last space. See me rotate up and in. Now all of our wedges are on. Now we just need to do a little bit of sculpting. So I want to show you a couple of options with this. Some basic stuff and some stuff for if you're more advanced or just a little more adventurous. So I want to show you here how I got some nice definition, and I really don't need to do anything more with that piece. But here, where I haven't got so much definition, I'm going to show you how to get that. You basically just take your finger, use your middle finger, and pull up and in. That gives you a nice definition right there. I'm gonna go just a little bit further. I really like to get in there and sculpt these. I'm gonna take my spatula and get up under like this and pull up. See how I'm getting nice round under? So get your spatula up under and just pull lightly up. See how I'm getting that nice roundedness? Then I'll take my finger and create the separation if I want a little bit more. So you have the choice of leaving it like this or getting the sculpture up under it, leaving it like this, or using your finger and creating a little more definition. So just some options for you. Okay, so I have finished kind of sculpting up the sides. I just really lightly, after I move the icing up the side, really lightly smoothed. It does not have to be perfectly smooth. It gives it a little bit of character. If you want to, you can even use a piece of plastic and smooth it. It's just not necessary here. We're gonna start the airbrush process, but I kind of wanted to see what it looked like in advance. I also took a piece of paper towel to get under there and just wipe off the edge just to make it nice and clean. What I'm going to do with my airbrush is I filled it with a little bit of a darker orange, and I am going to accentuate my pumpkin wedges here a little bit, give it a little more color. So let's get started. Yeah. So I'm starting here at the base and then come up between the wedges. Kind of give myself a little bit of dimension here. I want to leave my centers nice and light, but mainly here at the base and up between. You can get as carried away with color as you want. Put as many layers of color on. You can start with yellow, move into pinks and into reds even. This cake is gorgeous, done in a darker orange and then covered in roses or mums or fall leaves too. So it doesn't just have to be a jack-o'-lantern, it's a great base for the holiday. As you can see, this goes pretty quick. I'm at a point now where I want to choose which side of my cake is going to be the face. I want to spray on my pumpkin cheeks. Now if you don't have an airbrush and don't want to do that, you can do it with just some icing or leave it without. I'm going to show you how to put a nice rosy cheek on the face. We're going to do a little girl pumpkin face. I know we did that the last time, but it's so much fun. I want to show you how to put eyelashes and lipstick and eyeshadow and that sort of thing. So let's get started with her cheeks. Okay, you can see we put on some nice blush. It's just about the center of the pumpkin face. So getting a cute face on your pumpkin is really the key to having this be a successful cake. You want to, if you're not so artistically inclined, sketch it out first. Make sure you know where you're going to put everything. But I'm going to give you some tips that'll really help you out. So on any kind of a character or cartoonish cake, you want really large eyes, and they need to be placed right. On this pumpkin, we want them to fill up more than half of the cake. And we're going to start about here and finish about here. So to do the eye, I'm going to show you on the turntable first so you can get a really good idea, just in case you're not able to see how I'm putting it on the cake itself. You want to use just a coupler, so you have a big, nice, fat opening. And you want to be at a straight up and down angle. So at your cake, you're going to be straight on. Not up, not down, but straight on. You're going to start to squeeze, move up, and see how the tip of my coupler is embedded in. Keep it down in, move around. You're guiding with one hand and your wrist is doing the work of twisting. And back up. Make sure you finish in the center. You've got a nice googly eye. Let me do one more here. Keep your tip down in. Nice even pressure. And back up. You can see you've got two nice googly eyes. That's about the size and shape that we want. Kind of a shape of a kidney bean. So you can see where I've got my little cheek. I want to make sure that I'm clear that I'm in the center of those. So that's going to be right about there. I want to start on the high side, top of my pumpkin. You can see I'm about 2/3 of the way up. Give it a nice squeeze, rotate my wrist up and back down and around. Next eye. To get different expressions, you can place the eyes differently. You can put them real close together at the top and wide at the bottom. Play around with that a little bit, and sketching it out is a good way to start out with that. Because I want to make this a little girl, I want to put some eyeshadow on her. So I want to create eyelids. I'm just going to mark them. And for this, I'm going to use the airbrush. I'm going to add a little purple eyeshadow. If you don't have an airbrush, you can fill that in with icing of a different color too. Okay, so I'm just gonna spray, oops, I got a little close there. It's another thing to be careful with your airbrush and soft frosting is getting too close. I'm blowing a hole in it. So I'm just gonna real lightly give her her eyeshadow. So we've got our eyeshadow on. Now we want to give her her pupils and her eyelashes. And I've got just a paper bag here filled with some black piping gel. Piping gel you can get pretty much anywhere. Michael's does have it now. Any cake decorating shop will have it. And if you buy clear, you can just add a little black food coloring. It's the best way to get a nice intense color, and it also adds a little sheen, and it really doesn't bleed. So we're going to start in the middle. Just pull across her eye a nice fat eyeliner. Pull it out, give her a little eyelash. So we're going to squeeze, pull up. See if we can get a nice point on these eyelashes. I'm getting a little droopy there. My piping gel is a little stickier than I want it to be, so I'm actually having to be a little more careful about these lashes and getting the point that I want. There we go. Now we want to give her her pupil. I want to give her a cute expression, so I am going to have her looking off to one side. Now we want to give her her cheeks. I'm gonna do the cheeks and the mouth first before I do the nose, just so I can get my proportions right and not get one inside the other. So first I'm gonna frame her little cheeks, a little smile line. Okay, there's her little smile line. Now I'm gonna give her her little jagged smile. So just an up and down movement, stop and give her a point, back up, back down, back up, back down, back up. And now I'm gonna give her her little nose. Little triangle. So I'm gonna give her a cute little set of kissy lips. So we're gonna add right onto here. This is another figure piping technique. You wanna squeeze, let it build right down in there, and release. I'm gonna use a little heart shape for the top of her lips. And then a nice round bottom. I'm gonna make those just a little bigger. So you can just get right back down in the little ball I've created. Wiggle just a little bit, nice even control, and I can make those as big or as little as I want. And then we just want to give that a little outline. So now I'm going to work on the top of the cake, and I'm going to give her what will work as leaves for the pumpkin, but also kind of makes like hair. So the technique I'm going to use is a piped on leaf. It's a technique that we use for flowers like poinsettias and dogwood and even the daffodil, if you've seen that before. So I'm going to start by putting a 6-point leaf on the reference points, and you'll see how that leaf starts to shape up. So I want it to kind of come down over her little eye, be flirty. My first point's going to be here, second here, third here. I'm going to need to turn, fourth here, fifth here, and my 6th reference point would actually be where the stem of the leaf would come, here. Okay, so with this technique, I'm going to lay my rose tip flat. I'm using a 124 rose tip. You can use a 104 up to 126, whatever you want to do there. I'm starting at the center. Here's my center point, flat. I'm going to ruffle out to the point flat, rock forward to a point, rock back the other direction, and ruffle. Stop there. Start again. Ruffle out to the point, rock back. At this point, I'm going to need to turn my cake a little to get the right angle, and stop. With this technique, it is the point and the rock back that is the most difficult. Just takes a little practice. Don't be afraid to move your cake to get the angle that you want. There, I've got my first leaf, and also bangs for my cake. So we're going to use 2 marshmallows and a straw for the stem, and just stick the marshmallows on the straw, stick it down in. I like to give it a little off to the side action. So we got our marshmallows and our straw down in our cake. Had a little mishap with it there. My cake was a little stiffer than I thought. So I'm going to use a paper bag. I've striped it with yellow, brown, and filled it with some green so that our stem has a lot of variation. You want to get down in, use nice even pressure, come straight up and straight down, all the way around. Your stem can be all green if you wish, it can be all brown. I like it to have a lot of color. And my top, I'm going to start in the center. Use a little bit of a drop technique, go around and around and around, and finish. Okay, we are ready to finish off our little girl pumpkin cake with some vines. I'm going to use some curling ribbon, some Christmas ribbon, 2 colors. I've got a light green and a dark green, and we'll finish off. So there's our pumpkin head. As you can see, you can go crazy with the variations on this one. Have fun and happy Halloween.